Long before modern science, before engines, before even the idea of electricity, there were civilizations who built wonders that defy everything we think we know. They forged metals stronger than steel, carved stones with surgical precision, and even harnessed power in ways that seem impossible. Even today, every time we dig deeper into the past, we find something that doesn't belong. A piece of technology far too advanced for its supposed age. If these stories are true, it means humanity once reached a level of technology that we somehow lost. And what we call progress might actually be rediscovery. These are 7 ancient technologies that shouldn't have existed. In the heart of the Middle Ages, blacksmiths in the Middle East created blades so sharp they could slice through armor, and so flexible they could bend to nearly 45 degrees without breaking. They called it Damascus steel. Its surface shimmered with wave-like patterns, called the water of steel. But beneath that beauty was a secret the world forgot. For centuries, warriors and kings sought these blades. European crusaders feared them. The blades of Damascus could literally cut through their own swords. When modern scientists analyzed surviving Damascus blades under an electron microscope, they found something shocking. Tiny carbon nanotubes embedded in the metal structure. That discovery came nearly 1,000 years before nanotechnology even existed. How did ancient blacksmiths achieve this? Was it pure chance? Or had they inherited an ancient metallurgical formula lost to time? Some researchers believe the secret lay in a special Indian steel called woots, traded across continents. A material so advanced that even today, reproducing it perfectly is nearly impossible. The knowledge of Damascus vanished by the 18th century, perhaps lost with the fall of its trade routes, or deliberately kept secret and buried with its masters. Concrete holds up our cities, bridges, and homes, yet most crumble after a few decades. Roman concrete, on the other hand, is still standing after 2,000 years, and it's actually getting stronger. The secret ingredient was volcanic ash, specifically from the Bay of Naples, mixed with lime and seawater to create a chemical reaction that strengthens when exposed to moisture. The Romans didn't just build monuments, they built self-healing materials. When modern engineers tested fragments from ancient harbors, they found crystals forming inside old cracks, naturally sealing them. That means every wave, every drop of water, makes Roman concrete tougher. How did they figure that out without microscopes or modern chemistry? Some historians think it was experimentation. Others suggest they were following formulas handed down from an even earlier civilization, a lineage of knowledge stretching back into prehistory. Even now, researchers admit, we can't fully replicate it. We can only copy its behavior, not its essence. In 1901, sponge divers exploring the Aegean Sea surfaced with what looked like a corroded lump of metal. But inside that lump were gears, intricate, interlocking bronze gears. The object became known as the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old analog computer. It could predict eclipses, map planetary movements, and even calculate the dates of the Olympic Games. For centuries, no one believed such precision existed before the Renaissance. The device contained more than 30 bronze gears, perfectly cut with tooth patterns similar to 18th century clockwork. It suggests the Greeks had an understanding of engineering far ahead of their time. Some historians call it a machine out of place. Others suspect it was part of a greater system, that ancient scientists may have had access to an entire tradition of precision instruments, now lost to the sea. Could the mechanism be the surviving clue of a forgotten technological golden age, one that ended suddenly, perhaps in fire, war, or flood? Inside the temple of Hathor at Dendera, Egypt, lies one of the most controversial carvings in archaeology. It shows a figure holding a long glass tube connected to a box with what looks like a filament inside. To some, it's symbolic, a mythological scene. To others, it's a depiction of a functioning electric light. The resemblance is uncanny. The shape, the coiled filament, the power source, even the way it's held, like a modern bulb. Critics dismiss it as coincidence, but supporters point to the Baghdad battery, real evidence that ancient people could generate small electric charges. If both artifacts are real, could Egypt have experimented with primitive electricity? The temples show no soot marks from torches, even deep within underground chambers. So how were they lit? Some think the answer lies right there on the walls, a visual clue carved by the builders themselves. In the 1930s, near modern-day Baghdad, archaeologists unearthed a clay jar with a copper cylinder and an iron rod inside. It was small, simple, but when filled with vinegar, it produced electricity. It's now known as the Baghdad Battery, a working galvanic cell, at least 1,800 years old. If the ancients truly harnessed electricity, what did they use it for? The jars produce only 1 volt each, not enough to light bulbs, but perhaps enough for electroplating gold or performing ritual sparks mistaken for divine energy. Some theorists believe the batteries were grouped in series, making them capable of higher voltage. If that's true, then ancient Mesopotamians may have been experimenting with electricity at a practical level long before anyone realized it existed. Centuries later, the Byzantine Empire wielded a weapon so terrifying it defied explanation: Greek fire, a mysterious liquid that burned even on water. When sprayed from bronze siphons, it clung to ships and wouldn't go out. Sailors described it as a living flame, roaring like a beast, devouring everything it touched. Historians believe the formula involved petroleum and quicklime, but recreations have never matched the descriptions. The weapon was so deadly that its recipe was treated as a state secret, passed only from emperor to engineer. Then, it vanished. Some modern chemists suggest the secret ingredient was an early form of napalm, a mixture that could ignite on contact with air or salt water. If so, it means the Byzantines accidentally invented a chemical weapon centuries before modern warfare. Far across the ocean, in the jungles of Mesoamerica, the Olmec civilization crafted polished stones that aligned perfectly with magnetic north. Discovered near Veracruz, these magnetic bars date back to 1000 BC, centuries before the Chinese compass. But why did they make them? Were they used to orient temples, track the solstices, or navigate unknown seas? If they truly understood magnetism, it changes everything we know about pre-Columbian science. It means ancient people, isolated by oceans, somehow discovered the invisible forces of the earth itself, from blades that bend without breaking, to concrete that heals itself, to computers and batteries buried beneath the sands of time. Our ancestors may have known far more than we give them credit for. Maybe these discoveries weren't accidents. Maybe they were echoes, remnants of a cycle of knowledge, where civilizations rise, advance, and then vanish, leaving only fragments behind? What if progress isn't a straight line, but a circle, each age rediscovering what the last one lost? If that's true, then these ancient technologies aren't mysteries, they're warnings. Proof that even the greatest achievements can be buried, forgotten and rediscovered when we're ready again. So, what do you think? Were these the works of forgotten geniuses, or evidence of something much older than history itself? Comment below and subscribe for more mysteries the world still can't explain.